Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. To support and defend. The Constitution of the United States. Against all enemies. Foreign and domestic. And to bear true faith. And allegiance to the same. That I will obey. The orders of. The President of the United States. And the orders of. Those officers. Appointed over me. According to regulations. And the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God.
You know, I once heard that when Stephen King writes his stories and makes his movies, these are based off of dreams that he's had. And he makes millions of dollars off that. Nobody gives him any flack about it. Yet when a Christian comes forward and said, well, I had a dream, we start getting all freaked out and tell them, oh, this is the work of the devil, such things as that. Well, I've told you all in the past that I've had dreams, and I'm not saying that I'm a psychic or anything like that, but like I said, in the past, when I have these dreams, I feel like it's because I'm busy during the week. I have just myself taking care of 4 people on my income, and I have a special needs grandchild that lives with me, and I don't have a whole lot of time to really sit and think things through. I try to watch videos and I research things when I get a chance, but really don't have a lot of time. So when I go to sleep, I feel like these are quiet times where the Lord is speaking to me. And if you don't believe in these kind of things, that's you with it, because this is my spiritual journey with the Lord. I have sat and listened to some of these people on YouTube talking about their dreams, and within just a few minutes I'm like, I'm out, and I click out. And so I hope that when you hear that I'm going to tell you something that I dreamed about, that you won't automatically click out, but you'll just hear me out. Because whether this dream I had was a result of eating too much watermelon before I went to bed, or too much keeping up with the ins and outs of the mainstream media, I had the dream, and so I wrote it down. And I believe that if we look at my dream, there are some spiritual lessons that can be gained from it. In my dream, I was going to this meeting. I went into this big building, and I thought that I was going to be attending like a church service. But I got in there and I realized that there were all of these men in military suits, and they had all of their gear and everything surrounding them. There were these staggered bleachers going down, and I looked down, and there was this man and woman on the stage. And the woman had this Middle Eastern look to her. Her face was kind of painted, and she had these lines going across her face, and she had an outfit with a gold collar, and the rest of her outfit was kind of a tannish or yellow color with small little flowers on it. The man that was with her was nondescript, and I didn't focus on him very much. I don't know if he was a key player or not, but he was there with the woman, just attending her. I had an immediate distrust of this woman, especially when she kind of looked at me and she could sense my distrust, and she did this, you know, look at me, you know, I can't do that twitchy head thing. But anyway, she looked at me and she gave me this look that let me know she didn't care whether I liked her or not. And pretty soon the man and woman was serving all of these military men, and since I have a Navy background, in my mind I thought they were Marines. But anyway, I began to tell these men I wouldn't eat that food if I were you. But they just ignored me, and they heaped food onto their plates, and they heaped insults upon me. As these men are eating, it was almost like that stupor came over them. And I looked, and the woman was becoming huge and fat. And she goes over to the man, and he's laying on the ground, and she scooches up her dress, and she straddles him, and they begin to have sex. I was disgusted, and I said, I'm out. And I left. And shortly thereafter, I woke up. Of course, I woke up, and I'm thinking to myself, why would I dream such a disgusting thing? I told myself I'll have to make sure I don't eat too much before I go to bed again. But as I said, I felt like there was some spiritual lessons that I could learn from it. And you know, if you believe in the gift of dreams, if God is really in it, I believe that there will be some scripture or something to back it up. If not, then it is that little bit of roast beef or whatever, just like Ebenezer Scrooge said in his the story. But anyway, I pondered on it. I was wondering if this dream was a remark about the morality of the military. I know for a fact I'm here in Podunk, Oklahoma, and I've heard about the swingers hooking up through Craigslist. And I want to say that if you are a person of any kind of rank and you're hooking up with people less senior than you, there's some things that's going on there that's pretty wrong, beside the fact that you're indulging in aberrant, immoral behavior. But I didn't feel like that was, it could be what the dream was all about, but I didn't feel like that was what I should be gathering from this. I have been reading about President Trump and all of the things that he's involved with, and the collusions, and as I've said in the past, if you look back at the history, 1948, when Israel became a nation, it seemed like we became more concerned with Israel's peace and safety and their welfare than we did our American. And we've been fighting wars and doing things to further the cause of Israel. And our country, as I've warned in all of my other videos, our country is caught up in this shroud of mystery Babylon belief that that I call Zionism, and we're progressing forward, and we're enacting laws and putting restrictions on Americans, and all of this is done with the idea that all of the Christians are going to be raptured, and all of this stuff is working towards the second coming of Christ and our Redeemer's coming. And of course, I agree that Jesus is going to return, but they've got their eschatology all messed up, and they're forgetting all about 70 AD and how much stuff has already taken place. But I'm not here to get into all of that. What I'm here to get into is how all of this C virus and everything else has been taking place, and people can say what they want to, but this country is falling apart, and you have to see that Donald Trump is our commander-in-chief, and he's supposed to be in control, and all of these things are happening. He hasn't said anything against it, so you have to understand that he may be a part of it. And I've caught a lot of flack over my opinion, and I just tell you that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. But anyway, I'm getting back to my dream. I have found some scripture, and I have found some things that I think could apply and could be learned from this dream. The first one is from 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 19 through 22. Do I mean then that a sacrifice offered to an idol is anything, or that an idol is anything? No, but the sacrifices of pagans are offered to demons, not to God. And I do not want you to be a participant with demons. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of demons too. You cannot have a part in both the Lord's table and the table of demons. Are we trying to arouse the Lord's jealousy? Are we stronger than He? And the other verse was in Revelation chapter 18, verse 23. The light of a lamp will never shine in you again. The voice of bridegroom and bride will never be heard in you again. Your merchants were the world's great men. By your magic spell, all the nations were led astray. And I believe that right there is key to this goddess that I saw in my dream. This goddess that has led this country astray, and we're following a path of demons. Back a few months ago, whenever all of this stuff came out about Epstein and his flight list, and all these pictures came out about Trump and his participation and hanging out with the likes of Epstein. I've heard stories of women that have made allegations against our president, and I began to pray, and I asked the Lord to give me some wisdom on the matter. And He reminded me of Ephesians, and I don't know why my marker fell out of my page, but anyway, He reminded me that we are not in a battle of flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities. And I shared that with my Facebook friends, because at the time that I had that thought in my head, right after I thought it, I turned on the radio, and the television the radio preacher was speaking on Ephesians chapter 6. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in his mighty power. Put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. I'm not going to read all of this passage, but it's the armor of God beginning in Ephesians 6 all the way down to verse 20. When you join the military, you're led into a room and you are asked to raise your right hand and you give your oath and you swear to support and defend the Constitution. Some of these things that are being started with this CV, I believe, are against the Constitution. There's this thing called Operation Warp Speed. And Trump, in a deal with Bill Gates, is trying to come up with a vaccine for the American public. He has vowed to use the United States military to vaccinate American citizens. That's all well and good if Americans are in agreement with being vaccinated. But what happens when they don't want to be? The U.S. government's deal with Moderna follows similar agreements it's made with pharmaceutical giants Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and other drug makers for their potential C-19 vaccines. We are investigating in the development and manufacture of the top 6 vaccine candidates to ensure rapid delivery. The military is ready to go. They're ready to deliver a vaccine to Americans as soon as one is fully approved by the FDA. And we're very close to that approval, Trump said during a press conference at the White House. As I said in previous videos, I know that I'm not eloquent of speech. I don't think that my place in this world was designed to make YouTube videos. But, by golly, somebody's got to do it. Got to start talking some sense into people. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I would never have imagined would take place in this country. The fact that I cannot say the name of something without fear of having everything I just said wiped away from memory, that is not American. I don't care what somebody has to say. Words should be free in America. Again, 1948, we've got all of this Zionism. I think our country was sold out and we're on a path, and I'm just making a plea to those with the power and the sanity to say, hey, I will support and I will defend the Constitution of this country, and I'm not going to let evil take hold. This is Tigger Grandma. I'm asking you to help spread this message if you don't agree, at least look up what I have to say and see for yourself. If you agree with what I've had to say today, I just ask that you like and share so that we can start waking people up to what's happening to our country. This is how you make a sandwich.